So we're going to look at some examples of modeling fractions of amounts. An example that I use is often what is half of 8. Everybody tells me 4, then we do a question and everybody gets 4/8. So take a look at a common mistake that people make. So half of 8, another way of seeing that is half of 8. And a lot of times as well, we'll write the of as a multiplication sign, because really what we're talking about is we do not have a full group of 8, we have half of a group of 8. When students see a fraction, a lot of times what they want to do is they want to take something, full thing, so in this case a rectangle, cut it into 8 equal pieces, and then shade 4 of them. So there is half of 8, and they'll look at this model here and they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4 are shaded out of 8 total, so half of 8 must be 4/8. Well, 4/8 is the same as 1/2, which is the same as 0.5. So we thought that half of 8 was 4, which it is, so we need to be able to model this so that we get 4 wholes, not 0.5 as our answer, which is what you're getting when you're writing down 4/8. We understand where it's coming from. Yes, it's 4 out of 8. However, we need to switch up our model. So we can get rid of this, and the major change is going to come from the idea that if you're using a rectangle model or a circle or something to draw it, this full rectangle should be what is considered one whole thing. So what we would want to do is keep it even simpler than that and say what's half of 8. We'll just draw 8 things, doesn't matter, they can be x's. So if I have 8 x's, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 separate objects. If I was to count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one represents one whole thing. So when I'm looking at my fraction up here, so half of 8, it means I start with 8. So here is my 8 full things. The denominator of the fraction at the start, this is how many equal sized groups I have to cut the 8 full things into. So I have to make 2 full groups. So there's my 8. I'm just going to make 2 full groups just so I split it down the middle. The numerator is how many of those groups I get to keep, or how many of those groups I'm interested in, or whatever the context of the question is. But in this case, I can just circle one of those groups. And now I can say, okay, half of 8. If I have 8 objects and I take half of them, my answer is going to be 4 full things, 4 whole things. So half of 8 is 4. So let's look at another question that's maybe a bit more challenging, but we like this example because everybody knows half of 8 is 4. That's the answer we need to get. So we have another question here. It says, what is 2/5 of 15? So if I was to see that maybe on a math worksheet or something, it might be wrote out as 2/5 of, the word of, which is what I like to do, or we might actually see it wrote as 2/5 times 15. And once again, we're starting with 15 full things, and we're going to get to keep 2/5 of that amount. So maybe it's cream eggs, and today you're going to eat 2/5 of the eggs that you got, and you're going to save the rest, whatever the context of the question is. So our first task is to split our 15 full objects. If I'm going to talk to somebody about 15, I have 15 separate things. The denominator tells me I need to make 5 equal groups. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to split them into 5 equal groups. So you could do them one at a time, split them in 5 groups, but I know that if I have 15 objects and I split them into 5 groups, there's going to be 3 full things in each group. So there's our 5 full groups. And the numerator is what's telling me how many of those I get to keep or eat in this day in this particular case. So we're going to get to eat 2 out of the 5 groups that we've split the 15 into. So we're going to eat this group, and it doesn't matter which one, we're going to pick this one. So, what is 2/5 of 15? This group is 3 in it, this group is 3 in it, so the answer is 6 full things. Not 6/15ths, because if I was to write it as, I'm trying to do it in red, I know it's wrong. If I was to try and say that it is 6/15ths, that number is less than 1. If you said that I was going to be able to eat 6/15ths of the eggs today, I would actually only be taking one egg, cutting it into 15 parts, and eating 6 of them. And that's not what we're looking for. So we have 15 full things, split them into 5 groups, keep 2 of them.